Besides trying to make a film with, you always want more money, you always want more time, but here we are and we're making it happen.
Okay, guys, shooting. Thank you very much. Okay, turning over. Rolling. And action.
Alex? 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 So Shadows is a film about two young women, two teenagers, who have lived their whole lives within the confines of this abandoned hotel in a very rural space. They've been raised by a mother who has raised them under very strict rules. They believe they can't go out during the day because of fear of the shadows will come and get them.
You can treat it as an elevated genre of few genres put together, so like, coming of age, psychological thriller, horror, but there's something, I think, more universal. The three, characters of the movie are as three agents. That Alma basically is the girl, is our protagonist, is like sort of the ego that kind of balances up and finds a way to get out of, the forces of the id and the superego that are the mother and Alex, to create, to be the person that one wants to be.
This for us was a female-led story about these strong young women who were finding their own way in a coming-of-age structure, and that's really what appealed to us.
Come on, give me a hand, quick.
Did the traps work?
We tried to make it as real and believable as possible. They're living in a world we don't know when we meet them. They're living in a world where there's nobody around. We don't know whether the end of the world has happened. We don't know the period of time it's been set, and we purposely did not put a period on it. We tried to keep it as ambiguous as possible so the audience can keep guessing what's actually happening.
These are two girls that have no idea about the outside world. They're completely conditioned to their environment, and a lot of it had to come from other people. It wasn't that I went away and hid somewhere and sort of figured her out. I had to do a lot of it through listening to Mia and her ideas, and because they're so close and they're sort of each other, it was really important that it was something that happened for me and her together.
Do you ever think what it might be like to be with a boy? Do you? I asked you first.
I don't know. Maybe. I mean, yeah. I have thought about it. You?
Yeah. Yeah. Like, he's got brown hair and dark eyebrows and green eyes. And his lips are thin and small, and he's got
strong arms and dreamy eyes.
Lola is a phenomenal actress. Whenever I see, something she's in, she's always there. She knows what she's doing. But I think she brings with herself, in the character she plays, some complexity that she has inside of her.
Alma is a creative, but her palette is quite subdued, but all the colour from her imagination is on Alex. So there's clues to who is Alex, you know, through the storyline.
And Mia is an amazing talent for me because she's just like, you know, she hasn't done anything before this, and I told you. She's a blessing because she's not only like, you know, really easygoing, you know, girl, so nice to be with. She's a talent as an actress, a natural talent. She has access to emotions that, you know, it's not an easy thing to do, you know, especially if you don't have the tools or if you haven't learned.
I know.
She's obviously a very complicated individual, and I've taken all sorts of paths with her, a purely psychological path. I've sort of analysed her. If I'd been her therapist, what would I have said? The way she can live this split life. She can concoct this fantasy world almost to the point where she believes it herself. But I think it was really important in the storytelling that we didn't give too much away. So I have to tread quite a fine line between being completely bonkers and completely normal.
Alma, please. It's not safe here.
Up here. Hold everything. No, but
This location is, I think, the fourth character of the film. I mean, it's a main character, and it would be impossible to recreate something like this, to imagine and to recreate in a lot on a studio. It's impossible, and we have found it.
It's an abandoned hotel. It's very dark and claustrophobic, but but Alma, the main character, is just wanting to make this whole place a little bit nicer to live and brighter and more colourful. So there are certain parts of the design where it's obvious that that's her input into the movie.
In all honesty, the hotel is actually really creepy, especially at night when there's no one in it. Like Alma was, you know, this is her world, and so, you know, I'm able to step into it, and it's there, and it's just, you know, everything comes just a little bit more easy when you're, or I find when you're just in a space that, you know, she's meant to be in and meant to have lived in.
When we first came to the hotel, it was funny, we did a bit of rehearsal here, and when we were speaking, it was like almost as if somebody found the hotel and then with the film, because everything was just like so perfect. You kind of walk about, you're on your lunch, and you're like in your bedroom, and then there's the living room and the kitchen, and you know, it's old and it's broken down, and it sort of gets in your bones. So I mean, it's always there, and it's sort of easy to tap into things then.
We kind of created a giant scaffold halfway through the whole swimming pool, and that whole scaffold was just kind of, you know, abandoned, dirty, as if builders were fixing the roof, but they just kind of left. So the audience is kind of the audience is left to believe everyone's just gone away from the world and just left this place.
It was perfect. It was like, you know, we had our own studio.
Location where the family, where the children and their mother live, is quite specific. And in fact, the script was adjusted when we found Deer Park.
Don't do that, Alex! What's wrong? Scared me!
I scared you.
I thought you were... It doesn't matter.
It was a long process to reach this cast. Mia is really Alma, Lola is really Alex, and Saskia is really Mother. So I think that the rehearsals time, the prep time was really useful to let Lola and Mia be really how they are in the movie, so united but different.
And me and Mia had gone in originally to read for the opposite characters. I'd gone for Alma and she'd gone for Alex. And Mia had left, bless her, she'd gone and she thought she was done.
And then Jessie rang me and said, please, can you come back? Are you still around? I said, yes, I am. And she said, okay, can you also bear in mind that you're coming in to read for Alma? I was like, okay, cool, great.
The two women did the scene when Alex pulls Alma from the Black River, and there's this huge moment of realization for them, super emotional, and it's a really tough scene.
It's a fucking hard scene. It's like complicated emotionally. There's so many, you know, tonalities, etc. So, and she did it perfectly.
That moment when they left the room and everybody just knew that that was the combination that we needed for this film.
I remember leaving the audition and saying to my friend, you know, God, that's something that's made me really remember why I love acting.
Ready? You go?
And cut. Okay, good. So let's go.
Carlo is wonderful. We love Carlo. We love Carlo. It was a brilliant process. Carlo is so creative, so many ideas.
So fun and amazing. It's kind of like going to work with a really excited kid on Christmas. He's just so lovely and he's got such an amazing energy.
Carlo is incredible. What's lovely about Carlo is he's got this really special childlike playfulness, but he's so open to change, which is incredibly impressive since he has such a cohesive vision. But it's something very rare. It's something really enjoyable to be around.
Action.
Well, obviously it's an Italian film, but it's an English language film, which lends itself nicely to a country that can co-produce with Italy under the European Convention, but also is native English language speaking. So it just gave us, I guess, a bit of an upper hand in terms of casting and crewing. Obviously we have the tax credit, so the more work we do here, the more beneficial it is to our finance plan.
So from Screen Island that welcomed us, really, I remember the first meeting at their building. It was really surprising how cool they are, modern, let me say, contemporary.
I think the co-production worked really well. And, you know, I think, you know, we should do more co-productions like this.
For me, I would shoot other 10 films. I hope to come here again and shoot other films because I found much better than in Italy.
It's a welcoming place, yes. Even if the weather is horrible, the food is horrible, the people are really nice.